Odds are you've heard their story. The Boys of Easy Company, the tale of ordinary men becoming extraordinary soldiers. A legacy so strong, it became an award-winning HBO series titled The Band of Brothers. And Fox Carolina's Lauren Swenson takes us to Toccoa, where it all started.
80 years since D-Day, when 73,000 U.S. troops stormed the beach of Normandy. Among those men were the Band of Brothers, hopping off the train to begin their journey in Toccoa, Georgia. Currahee Military Museum Director Brenda Carlin explains why.
It was an experimental project, and the government said if it's not successful, nobody knows where Toccoa is, so it'll just go away and be forgotten. But thankfully, we know that wasn't the case.
From books to movies like Saving Private Ryan, and even the HBO series Band of Brothers. One of the best places to experience those stories today, the small town of Toccoa, where their legacy lives on through parades, museums, even original songs. Local musician David Byerjon is just one artist who's inspired by their story.
The major part of it is the history behind the mountain, and we wanted to make sure we captured that in the video. So, of all places, Camp Toccoa.
Formerly known as Camp Tombs, it became home to what board member Cynthia Brown calls the cream of the crop.
The Toccoa men were revered, they were feared, they were tough. Most of them were a little crazy. There were 18,000 volunteers who came here. They came here as boys. There were only 6,000 who successfully completed the training, so those 6,000 became the Toccoa men.
The goal? To create a so-called super unit, with a training program that would go down as one of the toughest to ever exist. Camp Toccoa volunteer and board member Brad Redding describes what set that regiment apart.
The vast majority of the folks coming here were coming in off the street. They didn't have any military background at all. And this particular facility, you were getting what are, in today's standards, 3 different schools in one school. I think what they were going through was the beginning of what we know as special ops now. 3
schools in one meant 3 times the training: basic, specialty, and jump school. On top of that, the Currahee Mountain Challenge. Locals can vouch it's easier said than done.
And you don't believe this, but it's 3 miles up and you turn around and you go 3 miles up again. It's just an incredible opportunity to challenge yourself.
Yeah, I've done 3 miles up and 3 miles down in my car. But in high school, we didn't even think about the road. When we were in high school, we climbed Currahee Mountain.
Today, the tradition continues, whether you drive, walk, climb, or even run the path.
I tell folks that I've been on that mountain on many occasions, but if you're not talking and you're paying attention, I've heard the boots and the cadence. There's such a spirit on this mountain. It's the place where so many veterans come to be closer to their brothers.
Every year, thousands travel from across the world to do just that, to experience a small part of ordinary men turned extraordinary soldiers. Others returning to experience the Brotherhood of Easy Company one last time.
The people, the boys who trained here and became Toccoa men, learned to be self-sufficient. But their responsibility was not just for themselves, it was for the man next to them. And they stood alone. What we have learned from them is we stand alone together. And I think that's what the story of Currahee Mountain is.
Lauren Swenson, Fox Carolina News.
You stand alone.
Very well done, Lauren. You can honor the Band of Brothers' legacy by walking in their footsteps. Camp Toccoa can be found on Ayersville Road in Toccoa, which is just over an hour from downtown Greenville. And they're open Saturdays from 10 to 4 and Sundays from 1 to 4. Admission is always free, and those donations, well, they're always welcome.
And the Currahee Military Museum is located inside the train depot downtown. They're open Monday through Saturday. Admission is $10 for adults. Well, right now